Deception and dismissal. The Galactic Alliance Council chamber fell silent as Earth's representative, Ambassador Chen, activated the holographic display. A small vessel materialized in the center of the room, rotating slowly to show every angle of its modest frame. The ship had visible welding seams, mismatched hull plating, and an overall asymmetrical design that appeared almost cobbled together. This is the Nightingale, Earth's contribution to the Alliance defense fleet, Ambassador Chen announced with unusual pride that contrasted sharply with the unimpressive display before them. Grand Admiral Zorval of the Arcturus Dominion was the first to break the silence, his four eyes narrowing as he studied the hologram. This is your military contribution. It's barely larger than our scout vessels. Ambassador Chen stood tall despite the towering alien presence around her. The Nightingale represents our latest breakthrough in defense technology. While I cannot share all specifications due to Earth's security protocols, I assure you it will be a valuable asset to the fleet. Laughter rippled through the chamber, starting with the crystalline chimes of the Vexillian delegation and spreading to the deep rumbling of the Thrax representatives. Even the typically stoic Medusan diplomats couldn't contain their amusement, their tendrils waving in what passed for mirth in their species. Ambassador, Science Director Kalara of the Medusan Conclave spoke, her voice carrying the distinctive harmonics of her kind. Our scans detect nothing remarkable about this vessel. Standard fusion propulsion, minimal shielding capacity, and weapons systems that would struggle to damage a cargo hauler. What exactly makes this Nightingale worthy of inclusion in our fleet? Chen's expression remained neutral. As I said, some technologies are classified. We ask only for the opportunity to prove our worth. Grand Admiral Zorval gestured dismissively with one of his secondary limbs. We appreciate Earth's enthusiasm to join the galactic community, but this is a matter of defense against existential threats. Perhaps your vessel would be better suited to transport duties or diplomatic missions where combat capabilities are less critical. The hologram shifted to show the six-person crew of the Nightingale, led by Captain Maya Wilson, a woman of medium height with sharp features and determined eyes. Chen introduced each crew member briefly, but the council had already lost interest, their private communications channels buzzing with jokes at Earth's expense. As the council session concluded, the verdict was clear. Earth's contribution would be accepted only as a token gesture assigned to the auxiliary fleet, where it would be kept far from any potential conflict zones. Captain Maya Wilson sat in the cramped command center of the Nightingale, reviewing the assignment orders from Alliance Command. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel, leaned against the bulkhead, arms crossed. "Transport duty," Wilson said flatly. "They're sending us to ferry medical supplies to Outpost Gamma 9. Patel snorted. "Did you expect anything different? You saw how they looked at us during the inspection. Like we were children showing off a science project." Wilson's lips curled into a subtle smile. "It's exactly what we expected, Raj. Being underestimated has its advantages." The ship's engineer, Dr. Elena Kovic, entered the command center, wiping grease from her hands with a rag. Her accent carried traces of her Eastern European heritage. "The outer hull modifications are complete, Captain. All the imperfections are exactly as specified, visible but structurally irrelevant." "And the core systems?" Wilson asked, "hidden beneath 3 layers of shielding. Their scans only detected what we wanted them to see." Elena's eyes sparkled with pride. "The Key-D matrix is fully operational but dormant. They have no idea what's really under the hood." The ship's tactical officer, Lieutenant James Chen, younger brother of Ambassador Chen, joined the conversation. "Alliance intelligence still believes the quantum displacement theory is decades from practical application. Our disinformation campaign worked perfectly." Wilson nodded. "Earth learned from history. New players always get underestimated. Better to appear weak until the moment's strength is needed." The communications officer, Ensign Zoe Washington, interrupted. "Captain, we're receiving unusual readings from the long-range sensors. Something big is approaching Alliance space, but it's not following any registered flight paths. Put it on screen, Wilson ordered. The main display activated, showing a massive formation of ships moving in perfect synchronization, their dark hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light. There were hundreds of them, varying in size, but all bearing the same ominous design. Lieutenant Chen's face paled. That's the Korvax Armada. We've only seen intelligence reports before, but those signatures match exactly. They shouldn't be anywhere near this sector. The Korvax were a mysterious species from beyond the galactic rim, known for their ruthless expansion and technological superiority. The Alliance had documented their conquests of several outlying systems, but had managed to avoid direct conflict thus far. They're on a direct course for the Centauri colonies, Patel observed. 3 billion colonists, minimal defenses. Wilson's decision was immediate. Alert Alliance Command. Send all our scan data. Request immediate reinforcement of the Centauri system. Ensign Washington attempted the transmission but shook her head after several minutes. No response, Captain. There's some kind of interference. I can't get through on any channel. The Korvax must be jamming communications, Chen suggested. Standard tactic before an invasion. Wilson considered their options. The Nightingale was the only Alliance vessel in range to provide warning. The nearest battle group was 4 days away at maximum speed. The Korvax would reach Centauri Prime in less than 18 hours. Set course for Centauri Prime, maximum speed, Wilson ordered, and prepare a message buoy with all our data. Launch it toward Alliance headquarters. As the Nightingale accelerated toward potential annihilation, the crew worked with a quiet efficiency that belied the gravity of their situation. They were vastly outnumbered and supposedly outgunned, but there was a shared confidence that seemed irrational given the circumstances. If we can't warn the colonies directly, Wilson said, we'll have to slow the Korvax advance ourselves. Give the civilians time to evacuate. Patil looked at her incredulously. 1 ship against an armada. Even with our advantages, those are impossible odds. Wilson's expression hardened. Impossible for a normal Alliance vessel. Yes, but they have no idea what the Nightingale really is. She turned to Dr. Kovac. The Lena, begin preparations to activate the Key D matrix. It's time to show what Earth can really do. The Nightingale pushed its engines beyond their stated capabilities, accelerating to speeds that would have shocked the Alliance engineers who had dismissed it. As they approached the Centauri system, the true extent of the danger became clear. The Korvax Armada had already established a blockade around Centauri Prime, with assault vessels beginning atmospheric entry. They're jamming all planetary communications, Ensign Washington reported. The colony has no idea what's happening. Wilson made her decision. Take us in. Direct approach to the Korvax command ship. Captain, Chen protested, that will draw their entire fleet against us. Wilson nodded. That's exactly what we want. All of them, focused on us, not on the civilians below. As the Nightingale approached, it was initially ignored by the massive Korvax vessels, too small to register as a threat. By the time they detected the lone Alliance ship heading directly for their command center, it was already deep within their formation. Open a channel to the Korvax flagship, Wilson ordered. Let's get their attention. The view screen flickered to life, showing a Korvax commander, a tall, gaunt figure with pale skin stretched tight over an elongated skull, eyes like black holes in a face that had never known compassion. Korvax forces, Wilson announced, her voice steady. This is Captain Maya Wilson of the Earth vessel Nightingale. You are in violation of Alliance space and attacking a civilian colony. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The Korvax commander's lipless mouth stretched in what might have been a smile. An interesting specimen. We were not aware the Alliance employed humor before conquest. Its voice was like scraping metal. Your vessel has been scanned and deemed inconsequential. You will be permitted to witness the assimilation of this world before your own termination. The transmission ended abruptly. They're not even bothering to attack us, Chen said with a mixture of relief and indignation. They don't consider us worth the energy expenditure. Captain Wilson smiled tightly. Perfect. Take us right into the center of their formation. It's time to show them why they should have paid more attention to Earth's inconsequential ship. The Nightingale glided deeper into the heart of the Korvax Armada, surrounded on all sides by vessels hundreds of times its size. To any observer, it looked like a minnow swimming foolishly into a school of sharks. Wilson looked around at her crew. The best Earth had to offer, handpicked for this mission. Prepare to activate the quantum displacement field. Target: the entire Korvax fleet. Dr. Kovac's fingers flew over her console, initiating a sequence that had only been tested in controlled environments. QD matrix powering up, Captain. Field generators online. The Nightingale's mismatched hull plates began to separate slightly, revealing a soft blue glow from within. The first indication that this was no ordinary vessel. They're finally taking notice, Chen reported. Multiple weapons systems targeting us. Wilson nodded calmly. Too late for them. Activate the QD field. Now. Part 2. Revelation and Respect. The center of the Korvax formation erupted in blinding blue light as the Nightingale's hull fully separated, revealing the true nature of Earth's contribution to the Alliance. The quantum displacement field expanded outward in concentric waves, each pulse passing through Korvax vessels as if they were insubstantial. Where the field touched, matter began to shift, not destroyed, but partially phased out of normal spacetime. The massive Korvax ships twisted as different sections existed simultaneously in multiple quantum states. Metal shrieked as hulls tore themselves apart, unable to maintain structural integrity while existing across dimensions. From the colony surface, witnesses described it as though the stars themselves had come alive. The night sky filled with blue light as hundreds of Korvax vessels disintegrated, leaving behind only scattered debris that rained harmlessly into the upper atmosphere, burning away before reaching the ground. At the center of the devastation, the Nightingale remained intact, its hull now reconfigured to reveal its true form, sleek, advanced, and pulsing with energy that defied conventional understanding. Inside the command center, the crew worked frantically to contain and control the quantum field. The technology was still experimental, and never before had it been deployed on such a scale. Field stability at 78% and dropping. Dr. Kovac reported, sweat beading on her forehead. We need to power down before we lose containment. Wilson nodded. Begin shutdown sequence. Status of the Korvax fleet. Lieutenant Chen studied his readings with disbelief. Gone, Captain. All of them. Over 200 vessels. Just gone. We're detecting debris and radiation consistent with dimensional fracturing, but no intact ships. Any survivors? Wilson asked. None that our sensors can detect, Chen confirmed. The displacement was total. The Nightingale's hull plates began to close again, once more concealing its revolutionary technology behind the facade of an unremarkable vessel. As the quantum field dissipated, the full extent of what they had accomplished became clear. A single Earth ship had eliminated an invasion force that would have required the entire Alliance fleet to challenge. Damage report, Wilson requested. Patel consulted his terminal. Minor structural stress from the field expansion. Power systems at 40% and recharging. No casualties. Wilson allowed herself a moment of relief before refocusing. Open a channel to Centauri Prime. Let them know the threat has been neutralized. As communications were restored, the colony's response was one of confusion and disbelief. How could one small vessel accomplish what should have been impossible? Captain Wilson provided minimal explanation, stating only that the threat had been eliminated and Alliance forces would arrive soon for security. Message buoy incoming, Ensign Washington announced. It's from Alliance Command. The message played, showing Grand Admiral Zorval, his 4 eyes wide with what might have been the first genuine surprise of his long military career. Captain Wilson, he began, we received your data packet regarding the Korvax incursion. A battle group has been dispatched at maximum speed. There was a pause. Our long-range scans indicate the Korvax fleet has disappeared. We are requesting immediate clarification on the situation and your vessel's status. Wilson exchanged glances with her crew before responding. The Korvax threat has been neutralized. Centauri Prime is secure. The Nightingale sustained minimal damage and requires no assistance. We await the arrival of Alliance forces to secure the system. The simplicity of the response seemed to confound the Admiral further. Neutralized? How is that possible? I look forward to discussing that in person, Admiral. Wilson replied diplomatically. Nightingale out. 3 days later, the Alliance Council chamber was filled to capacity. Representatives from every member species had assembled, an unprecedented gathering outside of major treaty signings. At the center stood Captain Wilson and her crew, facing the leaders who had so recently dismissed them. Grand Admiral Zorval addressed the assembly, his tone markedly different from their previous encounter. The evidence is undeniable. The Earth vessel Nightingale, acting alone, eliminated an invasion force of over 200 Korvax warships. The technology they employed is unlike anything our scientists have encountered. Science Director Kalera's tendrils writhed with agitation. Our analysis of the debris field suggests a technology that manipulates the quantum state of matter itself. Such capabilities were believed to be purely theoretical. Wilson stood calmly as the Council processed this revelation. When invited to speak, her explanation was direct. Earth has always understood its position in the galactic community, she began. As newcomers, we knew we would be underestimated. Our military strategists studied history, both our own and that of other species. New powers are rarely welcomed as equals. They are either feared and attacked or dismissed and ignored. She gestured to her ship visible through the chamber's viewport, once again appearing modest and unremarkable. The Nightingale was designed to appear unimpressive. Every flaw was intentional, a deception to ensure our technology would not be perceived as threatening. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices and translated exclamations. Ambassador Chen, standing proudly beside her brother, waited for the noise to subside before adding, Earth chose to reveal our true capabilities only when absolutely necessary, when lives were at stake and no other options remained. Grand Admiral Zorval raised his primary limbs for silence. The implications are unsettling. You deliberately misled the Alliance about your technological capabilities. We protected information that could have been dangerous in the wrong hands. Wilson countered. The quantum displacement technology is still experimental. Its applications could be catastrophic if misused. The Thrax representative's deep voice resonated through the chamber. The question remains, why reveal it now? You could have maintained your deception. Wilson's answer was simple. Because 3 billion lives were at risk. The choice between maintaining our secret and saving an entire colony was no choice at all. The Council deliberated for hours while the Earth delegation waited. Finally, Grand Admiral Zorval delivered their decision. The Galactic Alliance Council formally requests a full technological briefing on the Nightingale's capabilities and proposes joint development of a fleet incorporating Earth's quantum displacement technology. Ambassador Chen stepped forward. And if we decline? The question hung in the air, heavy with implication. Earth, previously considered a minor addition to the Alliance, now held leverage no one had anticipated. Zorval's reply was measured. Then we would hope Earth remains as committed to the protection of all sentient life, as demonstrated at Centauri Prime. Your actions have earned our respect, but also raised questions about what other capabilities you might be concealing. Captain Wilson exchanged glances with her crew before addressing the Council directly. Earth will share certain aspects of our technology, under strict conditions. The quantum displacement field is too powerful to deploy without careful oversight. We propose a joint security force with ships designed and built on Earth, crewed by personnel from all Alliance species. The compromise was accepted, though many Council members remained uneasy about the sudden shift in power dynamics. As the session concluded, Science Director Calera approached Wilson privately. "You humans have a unique perspective," she observed, tendrils waving thoughtfully. "You understand something the rest of us had forgotten." "What's that?" Wilson asked. "That true strength lies not in displays of power, but in knowing when to reveal it," Calera replied, a lesson the Korvax learned too late. As the Nightingale prepared to return to Earth, now accompanied by an honor guard of Alliance vessels, Captain Wilson stood on the observation deck, watching the stars. Lieutenant Commander Patel joined her. "Do you think we did the right thing?" he asked quietly, revealing the technology. Wilson considered the question. "We didn't have much choice after Centauri. But we've changed the balance of power forever. Earth won't be dismissed again." "No," Patel agreed. "They'll fear us instead." Wilson shook her head. "Not if we're smart. Fear leads to conflict. Respect and cooperation are what we need. That's why we're sharing the technology. Controlled, limited sharing." "And the other projects?" Patel asked carefully. "The ones even more advanced than the KD field." Wilson's expression remained neutral. "One revelation at a time. Raj, humanity has learned patience. The galaxy will come to know us gradually, as we choose to be known." The Nightingale's engines hummed to life, no longer pretending to be less than they were. As the ship accelerated toward Earth, the Alliance vessels struggled to keep pace, a visible reminder of how appearances can deceive, and how quickly the universe can change when assumptions are challenged. In the depths of space, rumors spread of the small vessel that destroyed an Armada, and of the humans who had fooled the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. They were no longer dismissed as newcomers. They were watched, studied, respected, and perhaps just a little feared.